The boat captain dropped them at the Argo II, anchored a quarter-mile out to sea. Piper pressed a wad of euros in the captain's hands. She wasn't above using charm speak on mortals, but she decided to be fair and careful as possible. Her days of stealing BMWs from car dealerships were over. "Thank you," she told him. "If anyone asks, you took us around the island and showed us the sights. You dropped us at the docks in Pylos. You never saw any giant warship." "No warship," the captain agreed. "Thank you, nice American tourists." They climbed aboard the Argo II, and Frank smiled at her awkwardly. "Well, nice killing giants and warthogs with you." Piper laughed. "You too, Mr. Zhang." She gave him a hug, which seemed to fluster him, but Piper couldn't help liking Frank. Not only was he kind and considerate boyfriend to Hazel, but whenever Piper saw him wearing Jason's old Praetor badge, she felt grateful to him for stepping up and accepting that job. He had taken a huge responsibility off of Jason's shoulders and left him free, Piper hoped, to pursue a new path at Camp Half-Blood, assuming, of course, that they all lived through the next 8 days. The crew gathered for a hurried meeting on the foredeck, mostly because Percy was keeping an eye on the giant red sea serpent swimming off the port side. "That thing really is red," Percy muttered. "I wonder if it's cherry-flavored." "Why don't you swim over and find out?" Annabeth asked. "How about no?" "Anyway," Frank said, "according to my Pyro's cousins, the chain god we're looking for in Sparta is my dad. Ares, not Mars. Apparently the Spartans kept a statue of him chained up in their city, so the spirit of the war would never leave him." "Okay," Leo said. "The Spartans were freaks. Of course we got Victory tied up downstairs, so I guess we can't talk." Jason leaned against the forward bastille. "On to Sparta, then. But how does the chain god's heartbeat help us find a cure for the dying?" From the tightness in his face, Piper could tell he was still in pain. She remembered what Aphrodite had told her. "It's not just his sword wound, my dear. It's the ugly truth we saw in Ithaca. If that poor boy doesn't stay strong, that truth will eat right through him." "Piper?" Hazel asked. She stirred. "Sorry, what?" "I was asking you about the visions," Hazel prompted. "You told me you'd seen some stuff in your dagger blade." Right." Piper reluctantly unsheathed Katropus. Ever since she'd used it to stab the snow goddess Chione, the visions in the blade had become colder and harsher, like images etched in ice. She'd seen eagles swirling over Camp Half-Blood, a wave of earth destroying New York. She'd seen scenes from the past, her father beaten and bound on the top of Mount Diablo, Jason and Percy fighting giants in the Roman Colosseum, the river god Achilleos reaching out to her, pleading for the cornucopia she'd cut from his head. She tried to clear her thoughts. "I don't see anything right now, but one vision kept popping up. Annabeth and I are exploring some ruins."
"Ruins?"
Leo rubbed his hands.
"Now we're talking! How many ruins can there be in Greece?"
"Quiet, Leo," Annabeth scolded. "Piper, do you think it was Sparta?" "Maybe," Piper said. "Anyway, suddenly we're in this dark place like a cave. We're staring at this bronze warrior statue. In a vision, I touch the statue's face, and flames start swirling around us. That's all I saw." "Flames?" Frank scowled. "I don't like that vision." "Me neither." Percy kept one eye on the red sea serpent, which was still slithering through the waves about 100 yards to port. "If the statue engulfs people in fire, we should send Leo."
"I love you too, man."
"You know what I mean. You're immune. Or, heck, give me some of those nice water grenades and I'll go. Ares and I have tangled before." Annabeth stared at the coastline of Pylos, now retreating in the distance. "If Piper saw the two of us going after the statue, then that's who should go. We'll be all right. There's always a way to survive." "Not always," Hazel warned. Since she was the only one in the group who had actually died and come back to life, her observations sort of killed the mood. Frank held out the vial of Pylosian mints. "What about this stuff? After the House of Hades, I kind of hoped we were done drinking poison." "Store it securely in the hold," Annabeth said. "For now, that's all we can do. Once we figure out this chained god situation, we'll head to the island of Delos." "The curse of Delos," Hazel remembered. "That sounds fun." "Hopefully Apollo will be there," Annabeth said. "Delos was his home. He's the god of medicine. He should be able to advise us." Aphrodite's words came back to Piper. "You must bridge the gap between Roman and Greek, my child. Neither storm nor fire can succeed without you." Aphrodite had warned her of what was to come, told her what Piper would have to do to stop Gaia. Whether or not she would have the courage, Piper did not know. Off the port bow, the cherry-flavored sea serpent spewed steam. Yeah, it's definitely checking us out, Percy decided. Maybe we should take to the air for a while.
Airborne it is, Leo said. Festus, do the honors.
The bronze dragon figurehead creaked and clacked. The ship's engine hummed. The oars lifted, expanded into aerial blades with a sound like 90 umbrellas opening all at once, and the Argo II rose into the sky.
We should reach Sparta by morning, Leo announced. And remember to come by the mess hall tonight, folks, 'cause Chef Leo's making his famous 3-alarm tofu tacos.